Just a quick one, guys, before we get into today's video. We do have a lot of Rangers t-shirts available on our website. Do browse the collection by going to either rfcclothing.com or going down into the link in the description. Let's get into today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, guys. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Just before we do get into the video, guys, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Of course, I do have a plaster on my nose. I just have a cut there, and every time I wash my face in the morning, it starts to bleed. So whilst recording, I cannot be bothered to have some toilet paper and holding it there because it keeps bleeding and doesn't stop for a good 20 to 30 minutes. So yeah, plaster is there. But anyway, now we've addressed that, guys, let's get into today's video. As I said, we've got a few bits and pieces to discuss. Of course, we're going to go through tonight's game against Hearts. We're going to be discussing the player who is set for a shock imminent exit. We're going to be discussing Kieran Dowell. And of course, we're going to be going through other bits and pieces. So tonight, of course, Rangers playing their final home game of the season as they take on Hearts of Midlothian in the Scottish Premiership. As I say, an emotional night for many reasons, I suppose, as obviously yesterday, Rangers announced that Ryan Kent, Alfredo Morelos, Alan McGregor, Scott Arfield and Felipe Lander would be leaving the football club at the expiry of their contracts. So yeah, this is their sort of final game, and yeah, they're going to be said goodbye. And these are all players that have gave a lot to Rangers over the last 4 or 5 seasons. You know, they've been mainstays in the team. So, yeah, it's going to be an emotional one, I suppose, especially for one of my favourite players personally is Alfredo Morelos. I've been a massive, massive fan of his over the years. So, yeah, sad to see him go, but it is the right time and it is the right decision from Michael Beale. Now, obviously, those players were coming to the end of their contracts. They're not going to be getting contract extensions, but there is another player that is set for a shock exit or a shock imminent exit, and that is Scott Wright. The reports this morning are stating that Scott Wright is on the verge of completing a 6-figure move of £500,000 to English side Preston North End. As I say, Rangers are going to be doing a bit of an exodus this summer. As you said yesterday, those 5 players were announced, but there's also players that Rangers want to offload, academy players and all the rest of it, fringe players, and some players that they can kind of command a bit of a fee for. £500,000 for Scott Wright is probably worth it. Maybe they can get a little sell-on fee there as well. But as I said, it looks like that is a done deal. A lot of Preston North End sources are basically saying that deal is completed and Scott Wright will be leaving the football club this summer. An interesting one is Scott Wright because, believe it or not, he was playing week in and week out last season into a Europa League final. But again, like a lot of our attacking players, doesn't really have end product. You know, he's fast and all the rest of it, can get past people, but when it comes to actually scoring goals and coming up with assists, kind of toothless. And he's not the only one in this team. A lot of the Rangers players are like that. So again, another good decision. I'm glad that we're getting rid of these players that have been around for a couple of years and yeah, finally moving forward without them. So yeah, that's the latest there. Scott Wright is set to leave the football club. Now, last night, of course, as well, it was also announced that Rangers have legit secured this deal of Kieran Dowell. Now, this one's been talked about for a little while, but I've never really rubber stamped it as a done deal, but I can now. Basically, Kieran Dowell is going to be a Rangers player and is probably the player that will be unveiled to the Ibrox crowd this evening. Depending on when you're watching this video, that player may have already been unveiled. But yeah, Kieran Dowell is a Rangers player, obviously signing from Norwich, another player on a pre-contract. And again, this one's not really, it's splitting fans' opinions. I suppose it's a risk-free one, but does obviously going to be coming with those EFL wages. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it's depth. I've trust Bill with his eye for signings. We've obviously brought in Todd Cantwell from Norwich, and he's been absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, I suppose a risk-free signing. Let's hope he can keep injury-free. As I said, he has been one of those players that has been plagued with injuries over the last few years. And Norwich fans have said, quote, he is good when he's fit. That's the story of a Rangers signing's life. So, yeah, hopefully Kieran Dowell can come in and, keep himself fit first and foremost. And, go and prove himself. He's one of them players that's not coming with that much pressure. As I said, I think these signings are quite good because when they do come in, fans aren't really getting that excited. So they have kind of low expectations for them anyway. So they're like, oh yeah, and then they usually impress. Like Tom Lawrence last year, he came in with like low expectations, and yeah, he started to be really well. I'm like, oh wow, he's a good player. So hopefully that's going to be the case with Kieran Dowell. And as I said, he could be announced this evening at Ibrox, and may have already been announced depending on when you're watching this video. Now, obviously, as I said, Rangers going to be taking on Hearts tonight, the last home game of the season. Very important that Rangers keep this winning run going. As I said, after that Old Firm defeat in the semi-final, our season has been practically over. But I did stress the importance of Rangers going into these post-split fixtures, maybe Bill playing around with the players that are going to be playing next season, and yeah, really go for it, really give it a go, and try and get as many wins as possible. And Rangers have come through that the last three fixtures with flying colours. Tough game against Aberdeen, then of course Celtic, and managed to pump Celtic as well. Of course, get the old firm monkey off Bills back. Then went into that game at Easter Road, and now again another tough game against Hearts, a team that are chasing European places in that fight with Aberdeen. For third place, and then of course the European football that comes along with it too, and then of course the last game being St Mirren away from home. But yeah, hopefully we can put in another decent performance this evening and really just call this season off, and then go into next season with all the hope that we possibly can. It's going to be a very, very busy summer, and already you can start to see that now. It's going to be a big summer for Michael Beale and for Rangers. Already, as I say, the signings just keep on coming. I think Jose Fuentes is pretty much a done deal. We've got Kieran Dowell, we've got Dujon Sterling. There's other players being touted about to join the football club too, and Michael Beale, as I said, has stressed just how many players will be coming in, and as we can see, how many players are leaving. So it's going to be, when we go into pre-season, it's an exciting time. There's going to be some really exciting players joining the football club. And it's going to be a new look Rangers team, which I've been craving for a long time now. We've had this same teams, really the same sort of players since Gerrard's first season. So it's going to be good to maybe see a few more new faces and a team that hopefully we can really get behind and really compete on all fronts going into next season. Champions League qualifiers. We need to be picking up cups, and most importantly, winning that league title. We can't have Celtic catching up with us in terms of, one, our trophy count, and two, overtaking us in league titles. That absolutely cannot be happening. So we do need to make sure that we hit the ground running. But Rangers fans, that's all I've got for you today. Please do let me know your thoughts on Scott Wright's Rangers career. Do you think it's the right decision to sell him, or would you have gave him a bit more time to prove himself? As I said, do let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. Please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.